If you think your paycheck is making you rich, this might hurt. Here's a number that should stop you cold. The average American will earn over $2 million in their lifetime. $2 million. And yet, the median retirement savings for Americans over 55? Less than $134,000. Where did the other $1.8 million go? That's not a math problem. That's not bad luck. That is the lie, and by the end of this video, you'll see exactly how it works. And more importantly, how to stop it from happening to you. Let me show you what that lie actually is. In this video, we're going to cover 3 things that most people never figure out until it's too late. First, why earning more money almost never makes you wealthy. Second, the psychological trick that keeps you spending every raise you ever get. And third, the single most powerful shift you can make starting this week that separates people who build wealth from everyone else. Stick with me to the end, because the third one is the one nobody talks about. Let me paint you a picture. It's Monday morning. You're sitting in traffic, or on a train, or in a meeting that could have been an email. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You have a job, a real one, maybe even a good one, and in 2 weeks your paycheck hits. For about 30 seconds, it feels incredible. Then you open your banking app. Rent, car payment, groceries, subscriptions you forgot you had, a coffee here, a dinner there, and then it's gone. Not stolen, not lost, just gone. And you tell yourself, next month I'll be smarter about it. But next month looks exactly the same. Sound familiar? Here's what makes this so unsettling. This isn't happening to people who are struggling. This isn't a story about poverty. Nearly 78% of full-time workers in the United States report living paycheck to paycheck. Not part-time workers. Not minimum wage. Full-time. Some of them earning $80,000, $100,000, more. So the obvious question is, if the problem isn't income, what is it? The answer will probably make you angry, because it's not an accident. And in a moment, I'm going to show you exactly who designed the system and why they designed it this way. But first, let's make sure we understand the real problem. The problem isn't that you spend too much on coffee. The problem isn't that you don't have a budget spreadsheet. The problem is what you were taught to believe money actually is. Cast your mind back. Think about everything you were ever taught about money growing up. Study hard. Get good grades. Get a stable job. Work hard. And you'll be fine. That was the formula. Nobody taught you about compound interest in school. Nobody explained what an index fund was. Nobody sat you down and said, here's how money actually multiplies. You were taught how to earn money. Nobody taught you how to keep it or make it grow. And that gap in your education, it's costing you every single day. Here is the most important distinction in all of personal finance. And it fits in one sentence. Earning money and building wealth are not the same thing. Earning money is what happens when you trade your time for a paycheck. You show up, you work, you get paid. Stop showing up, the money stops. It is 100% dependent on you. Wealth is the opposite. Wealth is when your money works for you. While you sleep, while you're on holiday, even long after you're gone. One requires your presence, the other doesn't. That is the whole game. Now, here is where it gets interesting, and honestly, a little dark. Because if the difference is so simple, why don't more people figure it out? The answer is that there is an entire industry worth trillions of dollars, specifically designed to make sure you never do. Think about every advertisement you've ever seen. New car, new phone, designer clothes, luxury watches, exotic vacations. The message is always the same, even when the words are different. You work hard. You deserve this. It is the most powerful and most dangerous sentence in the financial world because it makes spending feel like a reward. It makes saving feel like punishment. And over decades, that conditioning hardens into a reflex. You get a raise, you upgrade your apartment. You get a bonus, you book a trip. You hit a milestone, you buy the thing. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. Every time your income rises, your expenses rise to match it, and you end up, financially, in exactly the same place. The hamster wheel doesn't get slower just because you're running faster. Picture 2 pipes feeding into a bucket. The first pipe is your income. Water flows in constantly. The second pipe, at the bottom of the bucket, is your expenses. Water flows out constantly. Most people spend their entire lives obsessed with one thing: make the first pipe flow faster. More income. Better job. Side hustle. overtime, second job. But if the bottom pipe is the same size or bigger, the bucket never fills up. It doesn't matter how fast water flows in. Wealth isn't about more income. Wealth is about the gap between what flows in and what flows out. And most critically, what you do with that gap. And the people who figured out what to do with that gap? Let me show you what their lives actually looked like. Here's a question most people never ask. Why do some people who earn less end up wealthier than people who earn more? It happens all the time, and it's not luck. Let's talk about Warren Buffett for a moment. Not because you're going to be Warren Buffett, but because his life is the clearest possible illustration of one idea. Buffett bought his first stock at 11 years old. At 13, he filed his first tax return and claimed a bicycle as a business expense. By the time he was 15, he had saved enough from paper routes and small businesses to buy 40 acres of farmland and rented it out for profit. He was 15. And when he became one of the wealthiest people in human history, he was still living in the same house he bought in Omaha in 1958 for $31,500, while his net worth climbed past $100 billion. Same house. The man wasn't flashy. He wasn't performing success. He was obsessively, quietly, relentlessly building it. The principle he lived by was almost embarrassingly simple. Every dollar you don't spend is a dollar that can go to work for you. Now, most of us are not Warren Buffett. I know that. So let's make this real. Imagine two people, both 25 years old, both earning $4,000 a month after taxes. Person A lives fully to their means. Nice apartment, newer car, restaurants, streaming services, the latest phone upgrade. Every month, nearly all $4,000 is gone. But they tell themselves, I'll start investing when I earn more. Person B lives a little more deliberately. Decent apartment, older car, paid off. Every month, they put $600 aside and invest it consistently. Not $6,000, not $1,000, just $600. After 30 years, at a modest average market return of 8%, Person B's $600 a month becomes $815,000. Person A still waiting for the right moment, and that is the most expensive sentence a person can say about their finances. I'll start when the difference between Person A and Person B had nothing to do with intelligence, nothing to do with luck. It was one decision made earlier about what to do with a gap. But here is the part that should make you genuinely uncomfortable. This cycle, earn, spend, earn more, spend more, is not an accident. The system profits from it. Banks earn money every single time you carry a balance on your credit card. Lenders earn money every time you finance something you couldn't afford outright. Advertisers earn money every time they convince you to spend instead of save. Every time you buy something on impulse, somebody else's investment portfolio grows. Let that land for a second. The financial system was not designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep money moving. And most of the time, it moves from ordinary people toward the institutions at the top. You are not a participant in the financial system. You are the product. So what do you actually do about it? 3 shifts. That's all it takes. And here's the first one. Here is the core truth this entire video has been building toward. Say this out loud if you need to. My income is not my wealth. My income is a tool. What I build with it, that is wealth. And building it comes down to 3 shifts. Not complicated formulas, not secret strategies. Just 3 things you think differently about, starting now. Shift 1. Your paycheck is not permission to spend. Most people receive money and immediately think, what do I want? Wealthy people receive money and immediately ask, where does this go to work? That one mental reframe is worth more than any salary increase you'll ever get. Because a raise given to someone with the wrong mindset just means lifestyle inflation at a higher tax bracket. Shift 2. Pay yourself first, non-negotiable, before rent, before groceries, before subscriptions, before anything. A portion of your income, even 5 or 10%, goes directly toward your future. This isn't a new idea. It's the oldest rule in personal finance. George Clason wrote about it in 1926 in The Richest Man in Babylon. 100 years later, most people still haven't applied it. Here's why it works. You don't budget what's left over after spending. You live on what's left over after saving. The order changes everything. Shift 3. Know the difference between assets and liabilities. Robert Kiyosaki condensed an entire financial education into 2 sentences. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out. Rental property, asset. Car loan, liability. Index fund, asset. Designer wardrobe, liability. Most people spend their whole lives buying liabilities and calling it success. A nice car in your driveway is a liability. The portfolio that bought the car is the asset. Wealthy people buy assets first. Then they let the assets buy the luxuries. That's the sequence most people have backwards. Now, before you think this is about suffering through life on a spreadsheet, let me be absolutely clear. This is not about deprivation. This is not about giving up everything you enjoy. It's not about drinking black coffee and feeling smug about it. This is about intention. Here's something concrete you can do this week. Go back and look at your last 30 days of spending. Every transaction. And for each one, ask yourself just one question. Did this move me closer to freedom? Or did it just make me feel good for an hour? Neither answer makes you a bad person. But if every single dollar you spent last month went purely toward today's comfort with nothing building for tomorrow, you now know exactly what to change. A simple framework if you want. 1. Take your monthly take-home pay. Give 20%. One job. To build your future. An index fund. A retirement account. A business investment. Real estate savings. The vehicle matters less than the habit of doing it consistently. The other 80%? Live in it. Enjoy it. Travel. Eat well. Be human. This is the trade. A small slice of today's comfort for the real possibility of total freedom. Later. And I want you to really feel what that freedom means. Not the word. The feeling. Waking up on a Monday morning and having nowhere you have to be. Not because you're sick. Not because you're unemployed. But because your money is working hard enough that you don't have to. Spending a Wednesday afternoon with your kids. Because you chose to. Saying no to a job, a client, a situation. Because you can afford to. That is what you're building toward. And no single purchase you will ever make will feel as good as that does. So let's bring this all the way back. You are not broke because you don't earn enough. You are not behind because you aren't smart enough. You are not failing because something is wrong with you. You've been living inside a system that was designed, deliberately, to profit from your confusion about money. A system where nobody in school taught you how compound interest works. Where every ad you see tells you to spend. Where nobody ever said, a paycheck is not wealth. And one will never become the other on its own. But you know that now. And knowing it, really knowing it, is the first asset you've ever built. Because the gap between where most people are and where they want to be isn't income. It's not timing. It's understanding. The people who change their financial lives aren't always the highest earners in the room. They're the ones who stopped confusing busyness with progress. Who stopped upgrading their lifestyle every time they upgraded their income? Who stopped treating money like it was meant to be spent and started treating it like it was meant to be put to work? That decision is available to you, right now, with the income you have, in the life you're already living. It doesn't require a windfall. It doesn't require a lucky break. It just requires understanding one thing that nobody ever taught you. The paycheck is the seed. Wealth is the garden. And most people eat the seed. If this landed for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper, the next video is already waiting. I'm Tony. This is Grow with Tony. Let's build.